Welcome everybody to the newest dungeon on Destiny 2, Prophecy. We are Press Start Gaming, and today we're bringing you a simple and thorough rundown of the new Prophecy dungeon. So without further ado, we're just going to hop right into this. The most important part of the dungeon is to understand the difference between light and dark modes. If you can understand this, you're going to be able to fly through all the parts of this dungeon and hopefully have an easy time dealing with all the bosses. So unlike other game modes that carry motes like Gambit and the Reckoning, you can only grab motes from the Knights. In this section and all the other sections of the Prophecy dungeon, they drop 3 individually, and you need to gather 5 to gather 1 giant mote. See, these were all lights. I go over to the light part, and then I click just to explode, and then that gets that one done. So in the first room, you had to grab a dark big mote, and you had to grab a white big mote. And after you're done, you go into the second room, and it's rinse and repeat. It's the same thing. Now, you may be wondering how to consistently get white motes or consistently get dark motes. The key to it is looking in the bottom left corner of your screen, and it's either going to be glowing white or it's going to be glowing dark when you need to get the motes. It speaks for itself. You stand in the white, you get light. You stand in the dark, you get dark. It doesn't matter where they die, it matters where you're standing when you kill them, and that is the most crucial part of this dungeon. So after the first rooms are done, they should have been very simple. You're going to be introduced to your first boss fight of the dungeon. Like the other room, you're going to need to gather specific light and dark motes to further your progress. In our case, we needed 2 dark big motes and 2 light big motes. So after those were both completed, that gave us access to the boss phase. Now, this section is very hectic. You have a lot of things trying to kill you. You have just normal ads, you have the big knights that you need to kill, and you have the immune boss that's going to kill you. He can also boot you off the map, which is also kind of a pain in the butt. But don't be discouraged, because everyone that I've talked to and done this dungeon has said this is the beginning of the most hectic stuff in the dungeon. So here's where we've begun our damage phase for the boss. Now, as a boss dealing with him, he isn't too difficult, but he has some things that do make it a bit tedious. Now, as you can see, he does have a shield, and that shield can be used to boop you every which way, like I just got booped. Also, some of the Taken can spawn, and they can act like small blockers from Gambit, and they can make him immune at times. Now, he is able to be one-phased if you do have strong enough weapons. For power weapons, we recommend using the Xenophage, which is from a mission on the moon, and we also recommend using the Anarchy, which I'm using right here, which is from the Scourge of the Past raid. Now, unfortunately, at the end here, he did have a sliver of health left, which does mean that we have to go through another phase of gathering specific motes just to do another boss phase of damage again. However, shortly after, we do defeat him and we go to claim our goodies. Now, this is the first of 5 chests that you can get on this raid. Now, this is a heads up though, if you do the dungeon twice in 1 week, you will either get nothing from the chests, or the things you do get from the chests are armor pieces that you've previously gotten from the same week. So after you kill him and gather your earnings, you go to the middle of this little purple platform, and that'll take you into the second part of the dungeon. So after everything with the boss is taken care of, you then drop down, and now you're going to end up in the desert. Now, before any more story mission progress of the dungeon is done, there is another chest full of goodies that we can get right off the rip. Now, it is near the middle left section of the map if you're looking from where you spawn in, and it's simply indicated by looking for gold sand. And once you find that gold sand, there's a little temple that you can go into and go and collect your chest. Alright, so now that you got your chest, we're going to head out and try to find the objective. What you're going to be looking for are blight circles throughout the map. Now, they come in groups of 3, and all the cores of the blight circles need to be defeated. And after all those 3 circles are defeated, there will be a ball of light between all 3 objectives, and that will dissipate, and you'll have to find the next patch of blight circles. And there are a total of 3 of these groups of circles on the map that you have to complete. As mentioned, here is the third circle of the first group being defeated, and as you see, the white little orb there will dissipate as soon as somebody touches it, and that will lead you to your next part. So after you're finished with all the blight circles, it's going to bring you to the white little orb again in the middle, and in the bottom left middle of your screen it should say the way is open. After that is said, you do not have to find any more blight circles, and this will directly lead you to the next part of the dungeon. The way to go is go directly north from where you spawn, so if you have good map awareness, this is a good way to go. So after you find the way and you go down the hallway, you will finally hit the third section of the dungeon. Now again, you're going to need to be attentive to gathering dark or light motes again. There's going to be a little orb in the middle, and you need to see which one of the 4 sections that it goes towards. In our instance, you see where it is, and there's a dark mote underneath. Once you find out what dark mote you need to kill the knights and gather 5 of them, and once you gather 5, you need to go under that specific section where the orb is placed under, and you need to click to expel the explosion again. Once you find that, you need to go rush to the center panel and it will suck you into the next section where you need to do it again. Now, you need to do this 5 times. I believe it has varied for us before, and after you do those 5 times, it will finally bring you to the boss fight. But I will continue to talk here as it leads us into a second section, because it doesn't stay on the same one every time. But that one is dark again, but make sure to be attentive and to just look at all 4. Now, it can spawn in a section that isn't one of the 4. There is a big cube directly above you, and it can spawn up above that, meaning you can do any of the 4 sections in that room. But after here, we go to our 5th section, I believe, and this is the boss fight. For the boss fight, it will spawn big enemies, but they were very easy to take down, as it took us literally 5 seconds to kill both of them. After they are killed, you can go grab your loot, and that's literally it for the second. Just make sure to look where the orb goes and to make sure you have the right mote before you do it, because if you don't, it will reset all your progress and you have to do it again. So after the 3rd step, you're going to directly hop to the 4th step. Now in between that, you're going to have to do a little bit of driving on your Sparrow. After you come out of this long purple, pink, magenta hallway, you're going to see the actual main boss of the dungeon appear. Now in front of you, if you drive up to him, he's going to teleport to the next section. All you have to literally do is just chase him down and he'll literally lead you to the next section you have to go to. I believe he does 3 times and then he goes to the next section you have to go to. So after you chase him down for the last time, he will disappear. And then you need to go into the place that he was standing in front of. And this will lead you to the 4th section of the dungeon. So coming up to this part of the dungeon, it is a huge change from what you just experienced. The last section was hectic, you had to fight for your life, you had to look for stuff. And this, it's literally just riding on your Sparrow and just trying to not fall off the side of it. Now there also is the 4th chest that you can get, and I will come back to when we are close to that. So after this last twisty trail of ribbon is where we're going to grab the chest. Now it is in the right immediate corner of the pyramid when you jump down from the trail. You want to jump down, there's a little hole you can go into and it will lead you to a little bit of staircases. Now, between these 2 staircases at the bottom of the pyramid, there is a 7-Thune's eye that you can shoot if you have the ruinous effigy trace rifle. If you don't have it, don't worry about it, but if you are using it, there is that progress down there available for you. So, after you get the chests, it is back to heading towards the last part of the dungeon. So coming back where you came from and just continuing straight on the path that you were going before, you're going to head off this side of the pyramid and you're going to find yourself on a little circle platform. There's these little rhombus-shaped squares that will suck you up into the last part, and you will be greeted by a literal fuck-ton of thrall trying to kill you. Now, go ahead and use your ult, because after this room there is a rally banner location, so don't feel guilty about using your ult at this place. After they are all killed and all your clanmates are with you, head down the long tunnel, and that will lead you to the last room that you need to go to. So it all comes down to this. This is the 5th and final stage of the dungeon. Everything you've been working towards. So for the main theme of the video, like I mentioned before, dark and light modes. There are 3 sections in this room that you have to worry about, and behind each of those sections is the main boss. He is immune and you can't shoot him, but he can shoot you the whole time and is quite annoying. Keeping up with the hectic theme that I was talking about before too, this room again, it's stupid, high-paced action, death, everything you want in a Fast and Furious movie in a section of Destiny 2. The most important part of this is getting one section open. Once you get that one section open, you have a safe space to go to. So I got 5 of the light modes. I'm going over here and I'm going to explode in the white section, and that gets rid of the one boss for that area. Now, after each time you do get rid of one of those bosses, a big ogre will spawn. And it is quite annoying, but they are quite weak, and you can get rid of them pretty quickly if your clanmates want to rip in with you. As I mentioned, after the one space is cleared, you can kind of go back to it to go regen, reload, whatever you need to do to kind of keep yourself alive. And then you can kind of focus and try and getting the other 2 places open as well. So going through here, we needed to get 2 dark sections. Make sure again, bottom left corner, making sure that it's glowing dark. You need to grab 2 of the big dark light bolts again. And after we do those, that will finally bring us to the boss phase for the final boss. So, after you finally kill the 3rd and final ogre in the room, you are able to go to the damage phase for the final boss. Now, there still are adds that do come around after the last ogre is done, and we do recommend killing them because, again, they can drop heavy, and they can also drop orbs of light. And if you don't have ult or full heavy, you can also wait again, and they will spawn after about another 10 seconds. So for the boss, there are 3 things you need to remember and take care of. First off, he's a giant captain. He sends out like this giant dark light portal thing that you don't want to touch. If you do touch it, you get sent back to the beginning of the room, or you get sent back like 4 or 5 spaces once he progresses further. It is quite annoying because it leads into our second part of the dungeon, which is the buff. On the left side, there is a dark entropy buff that you can see. If you are 1 tile away from it, it will not increase. But the further you are away, it will keep increasing. And if it increases to times 10, you automatically die. So it's very important to keep track of that guy there, because if you don't, you get out of hand and sometimes you just die because you forget about it. It's happened to us before, and it will probably happen to you guys at one point too. Not because you're bad or anything, just because you're trying to do as much damage to this boss as possible. The third part is the sections that he can jump from. Now, we don't recommend using anything that's super long range because you're going to be either 1 or 2 tiles away from him at all times. And if you're using a sniper, it can kind of be difficult to try and get your precision shots off. And anything that sort of does a lot of damage in a short range area is probably going to be more effective for you at this part of the dungeon. So when he teleports to the last part in front of the staircases, that is the last part that you can do damage on him until he teleports away. He will have some hobgoblins there that you need to take care of immediately because they will try and strike you as well. But as soon as he does disappear, you have to go back to the pink circle again, and you will drop back into the original room you did before, and you'll have to rinse and repeat and get the dark and light modes again. So, after coming back from the boss page, you do spawn pretty far up, so make sure to jump before you hit the ground because you will lose quite a bit of health if you don't. So, after we did the damage phase for our third time, we were all done killing the boss. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the whole raid in a nutshell. After you do kill him, you are teleported to a specific treasure room, and that's where you get more goodies. Now, after you do kill him in this room, you do get your pinnacle. You do not get the pinnacle from this chest. This is just extra goodies that you get. Other than that, I just want to say thanks, guys, for watching the video. If you guys need any more walkthroughs of anything specific, let us know down in the comments, and we'll be more than willing to help you guys. And again, just thank you guys again for watching the video. We're Press Start Gaming, and we hope you enjoyed. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks, guys. Later.